All right, so thanks for checking out today's video. I'm going to be installing a couple Acuity Instruments components in this 11th gen Civic. This particular one's, it is a Type R, but it's going to be the same for your SIs, and pretty much if it's an 11th gen with the manual trans, this should apply to you. Just a couple things from Acuity that I got. I've got this, it's a centering spring. This increases the centering force. May the force be with you. It increases the centering force of the shifter by 50%, it says. So it's going to want to return to center from up, down, left, right. It's going to want a 50%. It's going to increase it by 50%, that strength of the centering. And then I've got this short throw adapter. And this is a little extension that protrudes down off the bottom of the shifter on the underside of the mount. This protrudes down and changes your mechanical leverage to where it gives you, I want to say, a 20% shorter throw. So we're going to install this from Acuity Instruments. And then we have this shift knob. Let's see. It's called a Poco low profile shift knob. And the benefit with this is that your OEM knob has a locking nut down here, right? So you put it on, you line up your diagram here, and then you lock the locking nut, obviously. So, and not only that, but the nut is probably down here. It's like the shifter's about this tall. The benefit of the low profile shifter is that it's designed to thread all the way down. It's going to sit about ½ an inch lower, but the downside is it's not going to have your etchings up here because there's no lock nut. It's just designed to thread as far down as possible, whereas this one might not even thread down all the way. The stud inside might not actually go all the way to the top. It's just not designed that way. It's designed to go on. It's got a little bit of adjustability, actually, and you lock down with that nut, you get your things lined up. But now this one, let's open it up and take a look. I haven't actually, let's see here. Acuity Instruments, this is part number 1925/BK. It is black. It comes with this nice quick release boot collar. Acuity. And then here is the low profile shifter. And what's nice is how the boot collar it's designed to kind of click in. Nice. So yeah, your boot collar is going to be essentially zip tied onto this, and when this is all said and done and installed, it's going to sit about, I'd say, about that high. We'll do a comparison of before and after, but it should be about ½ an inch lower, and that's going to be good because the short throw shifter, how I explained it, it extends the bottom side of the stud that's under the mount to give you a better ratio, a shorter throw. It actually requires you to put spacers under the shifter mount, so it actually raises the assembly. So we're going to be raising the assembly to extend it for the shorter throws. I know it sounds crazy, but you'll understand when I show you. And that lower profile shifter is going to kind of compensate for the assembly being raised up. So everything's coming up with the spacers. It's going to be a low profile shifter with shorter throws. And with the tension spring, it's going to be less loosey-goosey and return to center more better. All right, you can get on out of here. So this is the locking nut that I'm trying to explain to you. Sorry if I'm bad at explaining, but this is what is going to keep your shifter centered up how you want it. This is basically sticking your shifter knob that much higher up. So we're going to totally eliminate this, and the knob is going to just be able to go down that much further. So yeah, let's take a look in here. The threads go down like all the way damn near to the top. So you know what? Let's do a little test fit. Oh my gosh. Hold on, let me put this trim back on. It's so stubby. Hold on 1 second. So if you were to just rock the low profile shifter, you just basically polishing this little knob here. So I think it's going to be a good combination of the short throw with the spacers that's going to bring the whole assembly up in combination with the low profile shifter, because this is a little too short for me. It's like your hand is touching the bezel. Yeah, let's keep going here. Let's see what we end up with. All right, got this guy removed. Next up, it's going to be this whole upper assembly here, along with all the connections on the back side. After I get that out, it's going to be cup holder. All right, got this big chungus out the way. Next up, cup holder. All right, easy enough, easy enough. I'm over here collecting parts on the floor. Okay, what's next? To get the rest of the console, let's see, we have 2 screws right here. That might be an 8mm with a Phillips in there. So I see those 2. I see those 2 down there. And then we're going to have 2 hidden down here in the bottom of the console lid. So let me work on getting that out, and then we're going to have full access to the shifter assembly. Well, console's out. Excuse the mess. I have stuff everywhere. It's like this car exploded, and bits and pieces are everywhere. But I've got the console out. I just slid it straight back. Here is the shifter assembly. This is what we're going to be extending to give us that short throw. It's that. The adapter goes onto the bottom of the shift rod and gives us a better mechanical advantage. Let's open up our Acuity box here and see what the contents are. We're going to have the installation kit. This is going to be your spacers to raise the housing up. These are like locking nuts to keep all the bits and pieces together and from staying attached as you go for the installation. Here's your actual extension. So we're going to have to remove that yellow bushing. This is going to slide on and clamp, and then here's our new bushing that's going to go into the linkage down here. So you know what, the instructions say to remove the assembly. I don't see why I have to remove the entire assembly and deal with all the cables. They say to get to this, but you can easily get to that with a ratcheting 10mm. I really think I'm just going to do this with the shifter installed, use a ratcheting 10mm to get in here without having to screw with any cables. I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe I might have to, but I'm gonna at least give it a shot. I like shortcuts. So you can actually get it started. Here's the clamp with the 2 retaining. God damn. All right, so you can get it started. Okay, so here's the clamp. You can actually get it started. I've got the screws in there, so that's how it's going to clamp inside. So with it started, you can push it through to give you the opening to slide it onto the end of the shifter. So I was kind of studying this thing. So I was kind of studying the shifter and seeing why it needed the spacers. And it turns out with the extension and the new position, it wants to have this. It actually makes contact with the shifter assembly down here. So I think technically if you didn't want to raise your shifter and you don't mind modifying some shit, you could probably clearance this out to where the rod goes down far enough to click into the bottom of the shift rod, and you would still have like a low sitting shifter assembly. So just throwing it out there. It probably is possible to make it work without spacers, but the spacers make it more of like a plug and play, less no fabrication needed. So I can understand why they did that. So it is 100% possible to install the short throw adapter from Acuity without having to remove the entire shifter assembly. Because I was watching the videos and how-tos, and I'd say probably the most like somewhat intimidating, step would be dealing with the cables. There's a lot of like twist lock. You gotta pull this clip out. I think it's like a twist lock you loosen. It separates it, you can pull it out, but there's one, two, those only 2 cables. But I can understand why that might look a little intimidating. You don't have to mess with that at all. It's just this 110. You just got to get in here with a ratcheting 10mm. and you're good to go. There's plenty of room for it to come in and out. This is the last. I saved it for last, but yeah, I'm just using a ratcheting 10. No big deal. Tighten this down. We're good to go. Next up is to install this heavy-duty centering spring. And quick note, Acuity does sell this mechanism here, and I can definitely see that's where a lot of the side-to-side slop comes from. So Acuity makes this whole bracket assembly that will essentially eliminate that slop, and it's just a little bit of play. Even if you're in gear, there's movement. And this is damn near a new car, so it's not like it's wore out. It's just a poor design. But the short throw is 100% noticeable. I want to say it was like a 22% shorter throw advertised. It's 100% noticeable. Without a doubt. I'm not rowing the gears. So I'm excited to get this thing back together, man. With the low pro knob, I think it's going to be a good combination. All right, I'm going to record this part because I've seen too many times where the spring pops out. So it's under tension. When you pull this out, be careful. I already removed the retaining clip on this side. Had to chew up a little bit of the plastic when I was trying to like chisel in a flathead or a pry tool, but let's see what happens here. I'm nervous. This spring's gonna freaking fly off. I see it wanted to rotate already. I'm gonna try to keep it. Okay, see what it's trying to do. Okay, I just kind of held it together as I pulled. But here we go. So yeah, this spring is really soft. I was kind of messing around with this one already, and I can tell it's going to be more tension. So let's get that switched out, put it back together. That's going to be the last step. All right, heavy duty center return spring is installed. And as an added benefit, it actually took it a little bit of the side-to-side slop. There's actually like a little bit of a preload. The spring's actually contacting that mechanism right there. And it's stiffer to the point where even when the spring's not being stretched, it's still a little bit of resistance. So there's less slop in gear and in neutral. A little bit, but it's definitely noticeable. It's better. So I wasn't expecting that. So that's a nice little bonus. The movement is nice. It just naturally, obviously wants to center itself, which in my opinion is gonna be really nice to help with the let's see, third, fourth shift. Like say your first, second, it's naturally gonna want to swing over to the neutral position for that third, fourth. So I think it's just gonna help the shift quality a lot. I mean, yeah, golly, I just love the way it freaking feels. Let me finish putting it together. Nice. Alrighty, here we are, final piece of the puzzle. We've got the Acuity quick release boot installed. Let's put on this low profile knob. I like how it's like satisfying in the way it clicks. It's just, let's see here. Oop, I was making it harder than what it was. Quick release. Very nice, very nice. Man, so it's hard to explain, but there's more of like a mechanical engagement. Before, there was sort of like, it was like a dampening effect. It was kind of like not very confident engagement of the gear before. It was kind of like a smooth fall into gear type thing, but for some reason, all it is that short throw adapter. I don't understand how it would make it more like mechanical, like you're hitting that gear. Listen, it sounds different. takes away that spongy feeling, which I really didn't like. It wasn't like a confident like engagement in the gear. Man, this feels freaking nice. I love it. So pretty much like I said, that 2 to 3 shift, it's so much more fluid since that spring is essentially assisting you and going over to that neutral position before hitting third. So it's just less effort, it just wants to naturally, second, naturally wants to center itself and go into third. It's such a smoother transition.